Hello everybody, Mark Shamia, founder and CEO of Suits and Sneakers, and I thought I would do something a little bit different considering it's August and Women's Month, and I wanted to use the platform that we have to kind of showcase the women that inspire me, inspire us as a business. So today I'm sitting here with Jen Stoller. Jen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I want to make this all about you and I want to get straight into it.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know you, who is Jen Stoller and what is the value that you add to the world?
So firstly, I'm an ex-family law litigation attorney. So when people say that, they're like, wow, that's so hectic. How do you do family law? Well, at the end of the day, I did it for 6 years and I loved it. So firstly, I'm an attorney and now I started a company called Impassion, Transcend Yourself. Impassion essentially is about not only seeing the law as a place where you can fight and defend yourself and use tools in order to kind of fix the problems that you face, but rather see that those problems can happen in the future and educate and empower yourself to a point that you can either avoid that or go through that procedure where you don't end up destroying yourself and the things around you. So when you say who am I like to just say I'm a human. I cry sometimes, I get stressed, I can be powerful, there's so many things to me, but the one impact that I want to make in this world is to get to show people, you know what, you might be going through the worst time of your life, whether it's divorce, whether it's fighting over kids, whether it's whatever it is, but you get to choose the path that you go on. You get to choose whether you empower yourself through it. You get to choose whether you heal yourself through it. You get to actually sit down and go, yes, the universe has showed me that this is a problem, but now I'm going to man up and woman up and take and make choices that actually build rather than break.
I love that.
So yeah, it's a hard task telling someone going through the worst time of their lives, just breathe, it's going to be okay. They're like, I am breathing, and I don't think it's going to be okay. So my whole process is just to show people, like, be kind to yourself. You don't have to hurt yourself more. You don't have to live in shame. If you're going through a divorce or you're going through something really bad in your life, you don't actually have to even make it worse by being less kind to yourself. Because, and I know it's going to sound really happy clappy when I say this, but it really does start from within. It really does start from a place where if you're stuck in shame or you're stuck in anger or you're stuck in regret or those really bad headspaces, I promise you everything around you, including the law, will not serve you. Yeah. So I could sit and I can give you every single tool that the law will provide for you and it won't work, and what will we do as humans? We'll blame the justice system. It's not the justice system, it's you. Like, you have to take control.
Yeah, so you first originally came on my radar for 2 or 3 reasons. One, I'm always fascinated by people who are well entrenched in their careers but then decide to become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I think that's because, you know, from one entrepreneur to another,
yeah,
people don't appreciate just how hard it is, especially when what you've got is a good thing going. So that was one. 2 is you've come across over the last year or so that I've known you as like a real empath, which doesn't always line up to the profession that you originate from. Although I don't want to generalize that either, but I think it's worth noting. And then 3, the people that really inspire me are people who are always just trying to make the world better and help people to become better versions of themselves.
Yeah.
So when I picked up that these were the kinds of things that you were doing, and I've watched you be absolutely relentless, and we make a lot of jokes off camera about lack of sleep and just hustling and, you know, having a go, this is when I thought, well, it would be a great time to have someone like you come on camera with me, and I can use the platforms that I own to kind of put a light on you and just share what you're doing with the world. So what is it that you would, you know, what is it that you want the world to know in a video like this? So
firstly, for me, when it's actually quite funny because I always love to see how people see me, not from an insecurity basis, because people will go, how are you so positive? How are you so strong? How do you deal with people? Because I've been in the law profession, and trust me, it's not an easy space for, especially, not saying a woman, but like, I've been bullied, I've been pushed in court, I've been called some of the worst things, and I either got to sit down and go, no, you're that, or go, it doesn't get to affect me. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone's opinion of me has got nothing to do with me. I, every day, have to wake up and I have to be the best person that I can possibly be. I have to be kind. Like, what I get to be, I define that. So being in a tough industry like law, especially family law, and an empath, it's hard. I'm learning to protect my energy. I'm learning to also realize that some people aren't going to be good, and that's okay. It's not up to me to either change their lives. It's not up to me to make sure that they learn a lesson. I give them tools, I give them information, and then they must learn that lesson themselves. So when it comes to the space that I'm in now, like, I actually make a joke with my family and friends. Like, everyone's like, oh, she's so positive, she's so strong. And then my family sees me wake up, I'm like, with such anxiety, I don't know what to do. And then I like randomly cry, and then I can't sleep. But at the end of the day, we all go through things. Like, obviously, leaving my job to start a company, then COVID hitting, I was like, crap. Like, what now? Okay, let me cry and then I'll move on. So, and I also make this joke, it's like, am I going to cry about it or am I going to boss up? No, I'm going to do both. It's called multitasking. So it's like, so many of us, when you look at me, I'm like you. I've gone through pain. I haven't gone through divorce. Personally, I haven't gone through an actual divorce. But for me, pain is pain. Whether it's pain of a breakup, whether it's pain of losing someone, when you feel pain as a human being, you don't get to tell that person that they must man up or they must feel better. But you get to say to them, it's going to be okay, but let's kind of go through it as a process. So yeah, and I was actually speaking to someone the other day, and they said to me, Jen, can I tell you what your superpower is? And normally I'm like, what? Like, it's like, tell me. They're like, you're an empath and you care. But you also, and like, you're this little Florence Nightingale and you're so sweet and nice, but then you're like a lawyer and like you can be a badass. So, but you balance that. And I finally have learned to balance that, because you don't have to be aggressive. And this is what I say to my clients. I don't have to shout my message. If I whisper it and it's strong enough, it'll resonate.
Yeah. You and I have spoken a lot outside of an interview like this about the fact that human beings don't deal well with pain. Mm-hmm. And we're not really taught to process pain or have a relationship with pain, especially as a young person, because you have broken people raising broken people. So we tend to do these really bizarre things around pain, like we always want to avoid it. Yeah. We don't understand that pain is a precursor for growth. Or we typically, when we feel pain, we want to numb it instantly instead of sitting in the fire and really feeling it. Yeah. So is that, you agree with that mentality, and do you want to add something to that?
For me, pain is something that the minute you think you've gotten over it and you've overcome it, something else will hit you. So I always never, like, I'm not saying that I was a rock, but I'd never ever felt pain until I felt pain. Do you know what I mean? So for me, when it comes to pain, I do believe, and I am working on a course that shows people that before divorce, you have to get your mind, like, not still, but you have to realize you're in pain, you're hurting, you don't have to feel shame. Like, people think that pain means shame, getting upset, getting so sensitive, but pain can also just be being still and going, I feel really upset right now, I feel really overwhelmed, but you know what, I'm going to just breathe, I'm going to just be still, and tomorrow it will be better. And I promise you, the next day it generally does you feel a bit lighter. So for me, yeah, pain does lead to growth. The pain that I've gone through has led to huge growth for me. Do I ever think that like my pain is done? No. like people are like, you just turned 30, it's only beginning. I'm like, no, I don't want it to get worse. I just want it to be like I've kind of overcome it. But I kind of live in a space where you get to flow through things like water. Like, water is so pure and soft. But when water constantly cuts on a rock, it breaks that rock. Yes. So you can be soft and you can be kind and you can flow, but that can also be strength. So that's how I kind of try to live my life with my clients as well.
So then, is it fair to say that the work that you do with Impassion is really two-sided? You're trying to obviously help people within the family law space, but you're also trying to prepare them emotionally for what's going on and get their emotional state correct. Whereas typical law firms, especially family law firms, would just be focusing on the practicalities of getting the paperwork sorted, etc.
So I have kind of built a process where I go, the legal process is there, right? So if someone comes to me and they go, I want this, this, and this, and this, I also sit down with them, and a lot of people want to win or they want success. I try to show people you get to redefine your own version of success. Is success getting this, 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 and this, and destroying everything around you to get it? Or is success taking a step back and going, actually I can kind of get this, but my happiness will always come first. So it's redefining a version of success. It's using law, it's using people, and it's not just sitting and just taking the law and its processes and applying it to every individual, because that is not, in my legal practice, that is not something that builds people. It's not a one size fits all. And it's draining and it's a lot of work, but yeah, it's my passion.
Yeah, it's your differentiator. The saying that comes to mind is, do you want peace or victory? It's always resonated with me. So moving on, I want to, being that it's Women's Month, and I want to use this chance to showcase as many inspiring, incredible women as possible. What message would you have for other women watching something like this?
Other women, for me, it's so funny because people always go, yeah, you're a woman in power, you empower women. I'm like, no, I empower people. Because you can have an empowered woman that is dating someone that is hurt and damaged, and I promise you that woman will still feel shame because they can't change that individual in their space. So when it comes to Women's Month, just like flow through things. And I know it's going to sound very simple and very happy clappy, but you get to make a decision every day. You either get something to affect you and make you overwhelmed and anxious and stressed, and you're not actually doing what you want to do and what makes you happy, or you get to see it and you take a step back and you go, you know what, sometimes it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes there is no peace and closure. Sometimes it's, and I say this to my clients all the time, settle into the unsettling. Get comfortable in the uncomfortable. Because if you're thinking in the future, when this happens, I'll be happy. When this happens, I'll have peace. No. Like, just chill while the tornado is going around you, especially as a woman in relationships, trying to build businesses, having to do all these different things. If you don't want to be strong and powerful one day, that's fine, be still. Just be whatever the hell you want to be, and the rest will come. And
Quick fire one. Who are the type of women, or who are the women that you kind of look up to, or have been real role models to you?
My mom, and I know this is going to sound really, really weird, but because also she deals with my nonsense. And also she's a woman that is the best mom. She's gone through absolutely everything. And I also look up to every single one of my clients that have gone through the worst divorces, that have gone through dating narcissists and being married to people that, so an empath and a narcissist is something which is another topic, but in those kind of relationships, when I have women that go, I just want to move on with my life and I just want to be soft, and they keep getting hits with abuse and bullying, and they still keep that softness, that is what I admire. Because I turn around to them and I go, these are your options. It's easy to choose to destroy someone. That is an easy thing. But to forgive someone that constantly tries to destroy you every single day and choose kindness, that is the woman that I look up to. I really do.
That's awesome. I love that answer. I think we underestimate that mothers are mentors in a big way, and then of course what you mentioned was really powerful. So just in closing from us, how can people get hold of you? How, I'd love for you to just share with the people
So I obviously I've built a website which I've put a lot of energy and passion into. It's called www.impassion.co.za. Then my Instagram, everything is there. But I'm on Instagram under Jennifer Stoller and Impassion, Transcend Yourself. LinkedIn, Jennifer Stoller. Facebook, Jennifer Stoller. Just Google Jennifer Stoller and I think everything will come up, hopefully. Yeah.
So what is your one last message that you want to share with the world?
I think we also, especially now Corona, it's like life is going to be tough sometimes. And we think that we get to decide on what happens in our future. Like we actually think we can play God. We think we have control. If I set these affirmations and this to-do list, this will happen. And then when it doesn't happen, we get so upset. So my whole thing is that whatever you're going through, just go through it and learn from it. And that's the biggest thing for me, the lessons that you get to learn through the good and the bad. That is that's what kind of defines you. Because I'm a firm believer that if you don't learn those little lessons, the universe will keep trying to show you the same things, and you'll be like, but this has happened before. Yeah, because you didn't learn. And I talk to myself sometimes, I'm like, oh, I definitely didn't learn. But yeah, just flow through things. Life is not supposed to be filled with shame and disappointment and hurt. You get to take that hurt, and I'll leave with one quote, and I might mess it up a little bit, but Rumi said it's the wound is the place where the light gets in. And that is the one thing that I live by. You can have all these wounds, but if you consume it with light, I promise you, you get to light up everything.
Jen, I really want to just say I'm really proud of you. I love the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
I really hope that the people who are watching this take note, and the message I would have to them is, please help me pass it on or pay it forward by equally sharing a video on like this. This is the one thing that we can do. We can use our social media channels to really kick this on. And I would love nothing more than for a video like this to go viral and more and more people to discover you and the work that you do and just the person that you are. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
It's awesome, and best of luck, and happy Women's Month.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.